Hello. Right, new game, Kerbal Space Program. I'm only running a demo at the moment because I'm still not sure if I want to buy it. I should buy it because it's 33% off on Steam at the moment. But it's a very fun game, but I think I'll probably get bored of it. Kerbal Space Program. You are on the planet of Kerbal, and those are the Kerbal people. We're alien kind of guys. And basically the objective is to create a space program that gets you orbiting the planet, eventually landing on the moon and planets beyond. In the demo you can only land on the moon, there's no other planets, so you don't get a very large area to explore, but it's been a challenge enough just trying to actually get a spacecraft on the moon, and that is exactly what I happen to have achieved. Using just a demo kit, which is quite nice. It was very difficult, and I've landed on the moon with very little fuel. So I think this is very much a one-way journey for this little guy who's in here, this Jebediah Kerman. You can make him hop out, and yeah, he's. I think he's pretty much stuck here. So we're gonna go back to the space center, and I'm gonna show you my rocket that that got me to the moon, using just a demo part. So obviously in the demo you don't get a great deal of parts to play around with. So this is the ridiculous thing that I had to build. It's actually, hang on, I'll have to come back to this. So yeah, basically I've just had to switch back into the construction room, because as you're constructing the rocket, it kind of automatically generates the stages, and to activate each stage in flight you have to press space. But it went a bit wrong, and it put some of the stages in the wrong places, so that the top would separate off before I was even in space. But yeah, as you can see, you're given very, very few parts to play around with. You don't even get any science parts, and you only get one pod. So yeah, basically I was just editing the stages. So this is a 10-stage launch in order to get me to the moon. So I'm just going to go to the launch pad and give it a go. Rightio, launch day. It's night time, which is kind of cool, and the moon is nowhere to be seen in the night sky. I think it's on the other side of the planet, which is fine. We can work with that. I have to use the stability control system that you have to add as an extra nodule in order to control this. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of boosters down here. There's a lot of rockets on that, so we should see that we'll go up at quite a pace. So I shall do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. Oh yeah, look at it go. In short, this is very, very heavy. All of this here is fuel for those rockets. These 2 bomb tanks down here as well, and all these side tanks on the side. You can see how quickly they drink through the fuel. It just takes no time, and then we're on the next tanks already. And we're only 200 meters off the surface, but this is a successful rocket because I managed to get onto the moon with it before, so it does work. It's just a matter of getting it right first time. So yeah, it's tricky, but it does work. Hopefully I haven't adjusted the angle too much. When I first started the launch, I had to kind of adjust the angle a little bit in order to try and get the rocket to take an actual orbit, so you can't really see at this point, but I'm already drifting off this way, which is good. That's what I want. I want it to go in a 90 degrees kind of angle, because I want the orbit to go around anti-clockwise. So we'll see how this goes. I'm basically just going to stop it here because it's basically just watching me flying a rocket upwards. So it's interesting because you can see the boosters down here working really hard to control my angle of ascent. And down here, Jebediah Kerman, he looks actually really happy, considering he's not taking much G's because the rocket's not accelerating very fast, so he looks quite happy about this. But yeah, we're very nearly at the end. I don't know what that is. I don't know what, I think that's, oh look, there's the moon. I think that's clouds. I think it's supposed to be clouds. But yeah, we're very near in the end of this burn. So hopefully you'll see me launch the fireworks. These are solid rocket boosters. These weird little pods on the sides. So they use solid fuel, which is basically exactly what you find in a firework, just huge quantities of it. So it basically boosts me up into space. It does about 20,000 meters, 30,000 meters maybe. But yeah, it's all stage detachment as well, which is nice. So they drop off, reducing the weight, meaning that I can go much faster, much higher. So now you see my surface speed or my velocity increasing quite considerably, which is the objective, of course. We're trying to get as high as possible, as fast as possible. Now, one thing that does happen, because the rocket begins to tilt, when I separate these tanks off the sides, it tends to blow these tanks up if I hit them. There's not really much I can do about that. It's kind of irritating that it happens, but never mind. At least the rest of the debris goes flying down quite nicely. So we're going to stabilise this wobble because I don't really want it wobbling. Just need a little bit of a burn just to keep our rate of ascension going. We don't want to slow down too much. Let's slow it down anyway. Yeah, okay, so we'll just adjust it on the fly. So I'm just turning the angle a bit, turning the angle towards the moon a little bit more, and firing off those second boosters. So that should put me quite comfortably close to an orbit or in orbit. I think I'm just going to burn off the last of that liquid fuel. I don't think there's any point in keeping it. So you can see the different fuel types to cause different flame. Different propulsion to come out the end of the rocket. That middle one's fuel, liquid, and that's the solid rocket. So again, I just detach it straight away to take off weight, so that we boost nice and tidy. Kick that off. Right, we do have a height. You can add a maneuver, which is quite handy. So I'm just going to increase the speed until we have what could be regarded as a safe orbit. So that's quite a long old burn. To be quite careful about where you set the lowest point of the orbit, because you don't want to set it too low. Otherwise you'll just go flying back into the planet. You'll hit the planet's atmosphere and you'll just start to re-enter, which of course will make you crash. So we don't want that. That's a long old burn it's asking for. Maybe I should have kept the solid rocket boosters. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to point it at the moon. So you just get the angle right. Lock it in. And you basically just have to wait for a minute or so. You can see down here I've got a node timer, which this is the node here. So basically when you hit that, you have to start burning in order to accelerate towards the moon, or to suddenly accelerate towards an orbit. So I'm just gonna, as you can see, I'm very impatient. I just paused it for a moment. Start to burn off a little bit early because it takes a bit of time to get you up to full speed. So you start burning, and basically what it wants you to do is gain this much speed. I'm probably going to run out of liquid fuel in this tank before that happens. It does burn through very, very fast. But you'll begin to see the blue orbit line stretching and spreading out. It's very slow, but it is moving. So these 2 points are moving further away from each other. So that's my projected path. I'm now going to send a projected path all the way around the planet. And the lowest point will be at 91,000 meters, which is quite good. We don't want to really be any lower than that. I'm also just trying to keep this thing pointed at the moon to give it a nice stable orbit. Right, if we'd stayed on the planet, it would have been an eclipse, surely. So, just bleeding off the last of the fuel. And we'll detach, fire off the next set of boosters, which should push us into orbit and I should have enough fuel left in that tank to get me to the moon, get me close to the moon anyway, get me into a lunar orbit. So detach that, fire away, and you'll see you accelerate even faster now, because there's less weight to push, even though we're in space and we're weightless. The larger the craft, the slower things move, because obviously the craft has mass as well. I'm sure there may be someone who has a physics degree who'll go, no, don't be stupid, it's just this. But I don't have a physics degree, so I just have to hope I'm not talking complete tosh. So, as you can see, we're very nearly approaching orbit speed, and we can actually begin to use this now in order to judge when that orbit looks pretty stable. So that ought to be enough. There's no way I'm going to crash back towards the planet, and I've still got enough fuel in there to keep me going towards the moon. So get rid of that, and that's now my orbit, that's now my path that I'm going to take around the planet. It's nice and flat as well, and the moon is over there. So you can see I've already got a lander over there. That's my moon lander, this is my other moon lander. So yeah, we'll make a shot at the moon on the next pass. So I say, great thing is you can warp time, so you can speed things up so that debris and stuff gets out of the way, and you can get around to an optimal part of the orbit to reach towards the moon. Now, obviously, anyone who doesn't know what an orbit is, you're basically falling constantly. You're making the rocket fall, or your craft fall constantly towards the planet, but of course the planet curves away, so you have to remember that that's what you're doing. You're changing your descent to fall, I guess. So you can see more debris here that's in orbit, and it actually crosses one of my orbits over here, which is a little bit dodgy. I think it might be a slightly different angle, so it might not cross, but I have to watch out for that, because that's quite close. That's from a moon lander that I created not so long ago, and it was not successful. It does pass pretty close to the planet. Anyway, we shall plot a path towards the moon here. You basically want to do it at the point where your rocket is going the fastest, which is always the closest point to the planet. Because then, well, I don't know if this is going to happen actually. Right, so you see the line there change colour, which is a moon encounter. So it means that when you reach that point, you will be in the moon's gravity well. But that's a little bit too. Let's try it from over here. I want a nice short burn. See, there we go. So you'll also see, you can see this line deviates a little bit as I extend it further out. When we get closer to the moon, the line deviates even more until it goes a little bit loopy and wiggles all over the place. For now, I just want to get it so that we're encountering the moon. So when I'm here, the moon will be there, and then I can adjust my orbit or adjust my trajectory. Actually, I might as well do it all in one burn. I might as well get as close as possible in one go. So then it's giving me an estimated burn time, which is another 1 minute and 3 seconds. That's not great. I must admit, that is not brilliant. So we'll just warp. Oh, hang on. Oh no. I'm already pretty much on target, that's nice. I don't really have to adjust my ship very much. This is where you have to be accurate and very in control, because you are firing this at the moon way over there. So you really want to make sure you're spot on with that. So we'll just warp. Whoop. Wait, easy. So, as you can see, we're now approaching the moon from the other side of the planet. We've got nice high speed going. The game wants us to go up to 1,600 meters a second. So I'm just going to warp up to the last 10 seconds. Not too much. Start the throttle now. See how this goes. Ah, that's dropped down nicely. That has. Brilliant. Only have to do a 50-second log burn. That's good. That's a bit of a result. I'm still going to have to eject this tank. I think I'm going to have to end up using a little burner that I have inside of this. It's a much smaller tank and a much smaller rocket, and it's ideal for landing and not much else. to adjust my... There we go. So I have to burn this one for a lot longer, but even though it's a smaller tank, it's a smaller rocket, so it burns less fuel. So I should have just over 50% fuel to actually get me towards the moon. So there's my projected route, swinging around there. And the funny thing is, this bit of debris that I've just shot off will have its own trajectory, and it looks like it's actually in an orbit, which is a very long orbit that goes way out towards space. Now the only trouble with this is, at the minute, it looks like I'm going to be heading towards the moon in a kind of aiming for the dark side, which I don't really like landing on. I prefer to land on the light side of the moon, because then you can actually see the ground coming up at you. Because the altitude predictions are not very accurate. I think that will do. I think I won't do any more of a burn, because I'm going to encounter the moon. I'm going to enter the moon's gravity well, and I'm going at nearly 4,000 meters a second, which is very, very fast. And I'm obviously going to need to bleed off a lot of that speed in order to actually get to doing a safe landing. I could head for the sun. I did think about doing that, and I did have some other craft not so long ago that was on a crash course with the sun. Right, so now I need to work out. So when I'm here, the moon's going to be there, and when I'm there, the moon's going to be here. So you can sort of see the different encounters. So we click that there, 3 minutes ahead, we can do this. So now we just need to change our direction. Oh, he doesn't like that. I don't know what that is. That's really weird. I think that's the game telling me I'm just not going to have enough fuel to do that. Oh no. Why is it doing that then? What's it doing that for? Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. So we're going to change our angle quite considerably. We can control. Again, everything I'm doing here is controlling craft from the map view as well. It gets much more difficult to control the adjustments at this point, because the craft is so much smaller, it's easier to move around. Without this SAS thing, it's really difficult. I'd be amazed if anyone could actually fly without the SAS. Okay, so we're locked into that. It's fairly accurate, it's fairly on the spot. I'm just waiting to approach this node, and we'll boost towards the moon. So the moon is over there, and we're basically going to angle more towards it and hopefully get caught in its gravity well. That's the plan anyway. I'm going to try and get on the other side of its gravity well, so that we're approaching and we're rotating the moon around this way. That way I'll bleed off some orbit speed as well, which is nice. Whoa! Okay, blimey, that was close. So start burning. There we go. You only have to burn for 45 seconds, or plenty of fuel for that. Burn. I almost want to adjust my angle a little bit, but I sort of don't want to at the same time. We haven't got much fuel left. I've still got to have some fuel for landing. So I've got a lot of speed to bleed off when I approach the moon. I don't want to crash into the moon. Spot on, there we go. So we're slightly off our projected path, but that's okay. So now I'm going to enter the moon's orbit and just speed this up. As it currently stands, it looks like I'm going to crash into the moon, as opposed to making an orbit, which isn't really ideal. Yeah, that's a direct crash course with the moon, and in order to land on the moon I'd have to burn quite a lot. So I'm going to take this to a very, very close lunar orbit. It's possible to do a really close lunar orbit. Okay, that's a bit of a strange orbit. To bleed off so much speed. I don't really understand what's going on here. Am I still... yeah. Basically, I'm heading towards the moon a bit quickly. I think, unless I bleed off some speed, I'm just going to crash. And I need to change my angle so that we both... I think I'm just simply going too fast. Like, even there you can see it's just saying like, you're just going to overshoot. This is tricky. There we go. We have an orbit. Not a very good one, but it is an orbit. Yeah, there's no way I've got enough fuel to do that. I've gone way too fast. Way too fast, way too much. I'm gonna crash into the moon. There's no stopping it really. I'm on a direct collision course with the moon. So I've just got way too much speed. Just to bleed off enough speed that I don't go crashing into the moon. It's just ridiculous. It's going to be a very strange orbit, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I can give it a go, but I don't think that's going to work. I think I'm just going to crash into the surface of the moon. See, you can see it wants me to just slow down as much as possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's enough fuel there to actually stop me from slowing down. As I said, on a collision course with the moon. It's not going to be pretty. Not going to be pretty. This poor guy, Jebediah, he's gonna die. Yeah, I haven't even got enough fuel to land on the moon now. That's mission failure, sadly. Mission failure. Oh well, might as well try and make him land in style. Yep, all out of fuel and I'm still 1,500 meters per second too fast, which is about the speed of a bullet. So yeah, I think estimated burn's gone a bit crazy. 112 days and 23 hours at this current fuel rate. Yeah, I don't have any fuel, so as I said, might as well make him land in style. Might as well come down as a small meter. Or speed that up till we get into lunar orbit. See, we're very close to the dark side of the moon. And we're splat. That's it. Game over. That sucks. That's unfortunate.